Hey guys, it's Steph here at the FlowerFanatic. If you're new to my channel, I just want to give you a little reference. I live in a zone 6B. It's been snowing like crazy. It gets about 0 degrees at the coldest. I've been growing ranunculus over the past 2 months in my greenhouse. Also some sweet peas, and then in fall I direct sowed a lot of those cold hardy annuals like Iceland poppies, larkspur, snapdragons. Anyways, I wanted to show you an update on some of my larkspur. They're starting to pop up, which I'm really excited about. So I've got to protect my garden boxes from the chickens. They'll start eating all of those seeds and it will make me really mad. And so I've got a lot of prep work today, and today I'm going to be planting my ranunculus into my garden boxes and my sweet peas. I've been harding them off for the last week, so now it's finally time because the temperatures are around 40 right now. It's outside, overcast. We've been getting a lot of snow, but the temperatures are finally warming up a little bit, so it'll be perfect for my ranunculus and sweet peas. It's not going to get lower than like 25 degrees over the next 10 days, and hopefully for the rest of the gardening season. I'm just going to be putting them in my low tunnel. I'm going to do some prep work. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that, and then I'll give you little updates on all those other things, and I've got some cleanup to do. I am just so excited to be out here, even though it's really not very warm. I'm definitely the very first person out in my garden. So spring can be a little bit overwhelming, so I'm trying to get out here as soon as I possibly can, and anywhere there is snow melted, I'm cleaning up right there. So back in my cutting garden, I've been doing a lot of cleanup, raking leaves. We have a nice trailer over there. I'm just gonna dump it in there, take it to the dump. And then right here I have a garden box. So this is where my larkspur is. I'm so excited to show you, but they are starting to germinate everywhere. I sprinkled them like crazy in here, and my chickens were already in here digging up, so I'm glad a lot of them are doing okay. But those are all of my larkspur, so this is going to be so beautiful. They bloom about late spring to early summer, so I have a good month and a half before I'll get blooms. But I do have to do this early prep work or I won't have any seed heads because of those guys over there. I'm not letting them out right now until I get everything taken care of, but I do need to let them out because they also do work on my like early grasshoppers and really minimize those pests, so it's important. So I kind of gotta find a nice balance between the two. So this video is mainly about planting my ranunculus. So look how great they're doing that here. They've spent a few nights in the low tunnel. I just lifted the low tunnel because it was raining, and the soil is actually kind of dry because of the low tunnel fabric. But I'm gonna be planting, I think there's 150 ranunculus or 120. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get these all in the ground right now. Before I do that though, I'm gonna be mixing this in some nice compost because ranunculus really like to have well draining soil. If your soil is super dense, heavy full of clay, it will suffocate those roots. They really won't be able to spread. So I don't recommend planting it in really dense clay soil. Thankfully, this is actually pretty nice as is, but I want to add some more compost just so they can get a lot of those nice nutrients. Okay, I also got to start cleaning this up. This is what I had to protect my ranunculus that overwintered in fall. My husband also pruned our apple trees just recently. Normally we can prune them in February, but it's been so cold. We waited until the temperatures were above 20 degrees at night more regularly before we pruned our apple tree. So I got to clean all of that up. All my tulips are starting to pop up. So I'm just really excited about everything that's going on. It's been a long winter. It's just my favorite time of the year. It's heaven out here. So I'm gonna be putting the compost along my greenhouse right there. I'm just gonna start shoveling it in, make sure it's getting mixed in with the regular soil. That way those roots are gonna get a lot of that fertilizer. And then every single year I put compost all over my flower beds. I'm gonna have a ton this year. And this is one of the most important things you can do for your soil. Finally time to plant. I've been working so hard. I haven't had the reward yet, so it's feeling a little bit hard at this moment, but I'm just so excited to have beautiful blooms here in a few months. So I did mix in some of that compost and then some on top. Now let's go look over at my sweet peas right here. So I incorporated a lot of that in there, and then I did a nice layer of it on top just because sweet peas are such heavy feeders. So for my sweet peas, let's take a look at them. I did pinch them already. This way they're going to be a little bit bushier over here. So this is an east facing wall right here on my greenhouse, so it's going to get morning sun to afternoon sun till about 1 or 2, which I think will be perfect for sweet peas just because they are one of those flowers or vines, I'm not sure what you want to call them, that really like the cooler temperatures, and I think they might last a little bit longer if they get that afternoon shade when the heat sets in. Pinching them is going to make them a little bit shorter. They do get fairly tall, about 6 feet tall. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they'll get that tall in my climate just because we're not really humid and it gets a little bit hotter more quickly and they might start to fizzle off. But I am going to put a lattice, some sort of pretty lattice fencing right here. They have them at Lowe's. I haven't bought them yet and they don't need to be trellised yet, but definitely going to need to do that. I'm just going to space them about 6 inches apart. And then the soil is nice and moist, but it's not soggy. This area drains really well. So that's important with sweet peas. They don't want to be in wet, soggy soil. So I do think with my ranunculus, I'm going to get some shade cloth just so it cools them so they can last a bit longer. So once it gets really warm, I'm no longer using this fabric, which will be in about a month, depending on the temperatures. I'm going to go ahead and cover them with the shade cloth fabric to get them to just last a little bit longer. I'm not sure. It will be an experiment. We'll see what happens, but if I can get them another week or 2, that would be awesome, especially after all of this work. I just noticed I had dirt on my face. This is me all summer long, and I don't like to use gloves. I should put on some gloves, but I really just like to feel what I'm working with. It's not so great when I run into like a rose bush or a pruning that I did earlier, but okay, let's just get all of these set out and then it will start to be planting time. And then after I get them in the ground, I'll just go ahead and cover my ranunculus with the AG19 fabric. The sweet peas, I'll have to protect them from my chickens, and then I can kind of relax. If they need a little bit of water, I'll give them some water, and then the hard work is done. So I'm so excited. I was so close to filling up the entire garden box. I'm about 7 shy, which I lost about 7 in the greenhouse because I watered them too much and they rotted, but this is a pretty good, I mean, I got pretty close. It's pretty full. So I'd say this is about 120 corms. Next year, this is a 5 foot by 12 foot garden box. So if I had 135, I would for sure fill up this whole thing. But the closer they are, the more lush and full it's going to look. So it's going to be really pretty and it's going to be a lot more dramatic. So to plant these ranunculus, I'm just going to plant at the level of the soil. But if you have corms, you can go ahead and plant them in the ground right now, about 2 inches below the soil, and then space them about 8 inches apart, kind of like what I have here. Okay, all 120 ranunculus are all snugly. Now I've just got to cover it with my AG19. I've already got this one up. This is where my stock is going to be going in about a month. But maybe I should have eased into my first project for the season. My back is already feeling it. So the sweet peas I planted 6 inches apart, and 6 inches is closer than you think. Okay, so just to summarize with these ranunculus and sweet peas, if we do get a really cold frost, I'm going to go ahead and save that winter cloth fabric that I originally had on my first low tunnel and just cover them if that happens inside the low tunnel. I don't anticipate having to do that very often. And then I am going to give them another nice dose of my liquid fertilizer, and that should be about it. Anyways, I'm excited to show you all the updates on these beautiful flowers. I think my biggest battle right now will be my chickens. They want to peck at these little plants, and once they get a little bit bigger, I don't have to worry about it as much. So I've got to make sure I protect them from the chickens. I left my stock outside to harden off for like 30 minutes to 1 hour, and they had chomped a bunch of them, and I had just kind of forgotten that they would go after it like crazy. So I was really frustrated. Anyway, things are starting to get kind of crazy. I have so much cleanup that I've got to be doing. Huge project in my front yard that we're going to be doing that we'll probably, hopefully, start doing that in a month and a half. So just so much. Spring is a crazy time. I hope you guys are having a great day. Good luck with your gardening season this year. Make sure you hit the notification bell for all these future updates. Hit the like button if you liked this video. I'd really appreciate the positive feedback. If you guys have any questions, make sure you comment down below, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.